CNN's Van Jones says voters don't know what Dementia Joe's accomplishments are, have a weird kind of nostalgia for Trump. Is it weird? Is it weird that we hearken to a time when things was better, when the economy wasn't doing as bad as it was? We hearken for a time where we could afford our groceries and put gas in our car and protect and provide for our families. Is that weird? How is that weird? I guess it would be weird for a leftist that's that's for destroying the country. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Daily Caller News Foundation from Jason Cohen, and he reports that CNN's Van Jones said on Tuesday that voters are unaware of what he believes President Joe Biden legislative achievements are and have a strange nostalgia for former President Donald Trump's tenure. But it's funny that they don't actually ever name anything that Joe Biden has done to help people. They just talk about the infrastructure bill that's adding to inflation or any of the other stuff that they point to that's actually harming people. They can't name anything that actually is helping people. Well, Biden's American Rescue Plan and Inflation Reduction Act authorized $1.9 trillion and $750 billion in new spending, with some economists attributing persistently high inflation to this legislation. That's what I was just alluding to. But Jones on CNN Newsroom suggests Biden's purported accomplishments do not resonate with Americans and that voters oddly remember Trump's presidency fondly, despite the commentator saying it was an awful term. But yet, again, they don't point to anything that Trump did during his term that was awful. They never give examples. I can give examples of the awful things I just did, the awful things that Biden has done. They can't name anything awful that Trump has done. But then when you ask for accomplishments, they can't really give you anything good either. See, this is what happened when you challenge them on some of the things that they're saying. So let me play this. Let's play the clip here, and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
Yeah, and Van, the president is going after Trump in a new ad on the economy. Let's look at that.
Donald Trump loves to attack Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Because he's focused on revenge, and he has no plan to help the middle class. He'd just give more tax cuts to the wealthy. Joe Biden is worth...
Hold on. My tax cut that I received from Trump's tax bill, because remember, we're still running off of Trump's tax bill. It was substantial. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was happy. We were getting tax cuts under Trump, and Biden refuses to renew it. So best believe your taxes are going to go up under Biden. Something that this ad won't tell you. And it was studies, and I showed the studies that have proven that Trump tax cut benefit the middle class and the poor more than it did for the rich. I've showed that. I did a whole video on that. So this ad is deceptive. It's a straight out lie, really.
Working every day to make your life more affordable. Donald Trump is only out for himself. Joe Biden is fighting for your family.
Yeah, I mean, Van, to your point, in that ad, they were going after Trump, and it looked like his hair a little bit too, and so on. But they were also showing Biden sitting down with voters at the table, and more of that, I guess, is what they're thinking they need to do behind the scenes.
Absolutely, and part of the thing is we're living.
Yeah, they could prop Joe Biden up and have him feeding people chicken like he did before, but it comes off as disingenuous. When Trump's out there with the people, it's real. You can feel it. Biden looks lost out there most of the time.
In the United States of amnesia, people really just don't remember how awful and terrible the Trump days were. I mean, there was a reason that he got voted out. And so now there's this weird kind of nostalgia for the Trump days, which if you look back at any of the headlines or any of what was going on, nobody was happy during that period of time. It was a complete upset all the time.
That's a complete lie. That's why Trump got more votes than any Republican in history. I'm not going to talk about Joe Biden and his votes. So I'm going to leave that as it is. But y'all know how I feel about that. But we know that Trump got more votes again than any Republican in history. So try to pretend like he was unpopular and things like that is just flat out wrong.
So what Biden, I think, is trying to do, that message, Trump is for himself, resonates. People get that. That seems to be true. And Biden is fighting for you. That's where he's got to prove the point. The thing about it is, those of us who spend a lot of time with the news, we know Inflation Reduction Act is a lot of money to try to help build stuff. It sounds like gobbledygook. So you can't just get up there and say, look, I passed this ABC and this XYZ and this 1, 2, 3 and think people are going to be moved by that. People don't know what you're talking about. And so you've got to, on the one hand, punch hard on Trump and remind people that he is a chaos agent, but you got to get more specific. We just heard the price of eggs. Can you talk normal American and resonate and connect? That's what that ad is about. That's what he's got to be about on Thursday night.
Just wrong on everything. He do have to. I do agree with him that he has to tailor to the normal average American. He is right about that, but it's not going to work. Anything that he does is going to come off as disingenuous. Simple as that. The article goes on to say that voters were more fond of Trump's time in office in April than they were in fall of 2020, according to a New York Times Siena College survey. Trump's margins on the economy, immigration, law and order, the pandemic, unifying the country, and the Supreme Court surged during this time period. Jones said on Thursday that if Biden messed up during the upcoming presidential debate, then the election is over for him. He said, quote, "This is the entire election as far as I'm concerned," he said. The entire world will be watching. I agree. If you are a carbon-based life form, you're going to be watching. If you've got a functional brainstem, you're going to be watching. Because if Biden goes out there and messes up, it's game over. If he walks out there and a week later he's lower in the polls, it's panic in the party. And I do agree with them on that. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.